us to be here. Top 16 is upon us. Ooh, you feel that energy here. All right, so Frederick Osbo, I don't know if you heard about it, Controlled Chaos. It's a series created by Rockstar. You can watch that as Kazuya Taguchi's going to chase him down. Frederick Osbo initiates big angle there. Kazuya Taguchi not as deep an angle, going around that first inside clipping point. Now to that first outside zone. Let's see how they handle the second. Going to the second, a little bit of separation. See them going to that second inside clip. And Frederick Osbo is performing surgery right now. Call Dr. Osbo into that last outside zone. Nice job by Frederick Osbo. Kazuya Taguchi not exactly as deep as we saw from Osbo, but a great job. You know, Kazuya had the proximity, but just wasn't as deep. So taking a look at what's going down. Ryan Lontaine alongside Brian Egger, Chris Yule, but Ryan giving us some insight here.
Yeah, what I want to look at here is Frederick Osbo going by inside clip 1. Looks like he lost angle there, but then poured it back on. Got onto the rumble strip, which is totally fine. In the chase, you've got Kazuya taking advantage of that, being right there with him. Tight on inside clip 1. Kazuya was just slightly off in the chase position, coming to outside zone number 3. Pretty smooth from Osbo. He's got that tire right on the line, pretty much. That outside line. Let's watch right here at initiation. Yeah, he definitely took some angle out of the car there. Bit of a correction, but I don't think that it did anything for Kazuya, but giving him the opportunity to get a little bit closer. So it didn't affect Taguchi in a negative way. It just kind of gave him the little edge there to get closer. Kazuya's not in the box in outside zone 3. He's close, but he's taking a slightly tighter line there to maintain that proximity.
And this is something, there's obviously Frederick Osbo's team, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You know, Osbo went against Robbins. Robbins, you know, admitted that he wasn't at 100% with his machine, but you can't win in 32, you can't win in 16. But quote me when I say this, Osbo is just going to slowly ramp up throughout the event, and you know he's got Taguchi on his side, and he's going to try to get through him. But Taguchi, like I said, he has nothing to lose. He really has everything to gain. Osbo has everything to lose right now if he goes against Taguchi. So he has to play it calculated. He has to get to a certain point to ensure keeping that distance, points distance, in between him and that field, because Field's on that right-hand side. If he goes further, it's really just going to create this Grand Canyon of a points gap. Here we go. Taguchi out front, up garage, ISR Performance, GT Radio, GT86, into that first inside clip. You can see Osbo in the pocket, but back there quite a bit. Let's see how he handles this. Kazuya Taguchi in that second outside zone. A little bit of distance between them. Osbo dials it in. Really well done on that second inside clip. Now transition that last outside zone. Kazuya Taguchi, you can see him parking it right in the box. Osbo gets right next to him, bashed him on the side. A little bit of a love tap. Make some noise. Come on now.
Wow, that proximity in Mimic was pretty impressive, and he laid it on right from the beginning, Jared. Right at initiation, he was close. He was right next to Taguchi. He was kind of in the smoke a little bit before outside zone 1, but managed to get right back online. I'd like to see outside zone number 2 there. I kind of couldn't see it from my view. I want to see how deep he was behind Taguchi, but he definitely did a much better job in outside zone 3. So let's see on initiation here. Look how close Osbo is. That's taking some big chances right there, getting nice and tight, getting to outside zone 1. I think he did maybe just slightly inside on outside zone 2. Great line mimicking through inside clip 2. And then going to outside zone 3. Look at Osbo right there next to him, mimicking his line, almost exactly smoke for smoke, the rear of those cars. So right there you see Osbo just a little bit inside. Osbo just leaves outside zone 2 a little bit early. He was in the box, he just left it earlier than Taguchi did, but he, like we always tell the drivers, if you're gonna make a compromise, make it quick, make it count, and get back online. And right there you can see Osbo right in the pocket. You couldn't ask for any better in outside zone 3 from the chase driver.
His team liking it, a little fist bump there. I know Sean there in the middle, he's not exactly elated about the contact there, but you know, you could see them.
One more panel for him to fix.
Exactly. You know, hey, you know, if it constitutes an advantage or a progression in the competition, it's justified, but don't write the car off. Here we go. Slide and left for Osbo, right for Kazuya Taguchi, and Frederick Osbo gets the win and retains that position there in second. Again, unofficially. Always hate to just put myself out there in regards to points and status and what's going on. High fives all around. Lorette Nickel down there. She is the member of our broadcast team. And she's going to get some insight.
Stole my pen.
Themselves here in pro. And, notably, Mike Power went against Ryan Turk, and Ryan Turk went against the wall, taking himself out. Right now, Mike Power wants to prove himself. He initiates into that first inside clip, a little bit of distance, couple car lengths. How they can handle that first outside zone, excuse me, that second out. Look at Stookie surging a towel. That tire said, I'm a head out, so loses a tire.
Wow.
Or excuse me, that was Stookie out front, Power in the rear. So Stookie loses a tire.
Well, you don't see that every day, Jared.
No, we've seen it like a whole wheel, but yeah, the tire debeat it and just
Came right off the wheel.
initiated and spun out. So Stookie running on that back right wheel. So unfortunate turn of events there for Daniel Stookie. So Stookie, Power in the chase position, loses the tire and spins out. And what's unfortunate about this is this considered a debeating? There was no contact. So I believe, right? I mean,
yeah, generally
there are rules and there are rule books, and we talk about, maybe talk us through it right now.
Yeah, generally if your tire comes off due to contact with another car or with something like a wall potentially on track, then you can replace the tire. But this is simply a tire that decided to peace out. So
yeah,
that could be
that back right, and there was no contact between Power and there was no wall, obviously.
Exactly, there was no contact with anything that could have caused that. So, we have this rule in place to control drivers from putting 4 PSI in their tires.
Running low tire pressure
Exactly.
in order to have that grip. And that was something where, trying to find that razor's edge of what's too little, what's too much, finding the right grip, getting that side bite. And this was find out run 1 of this Royal Purple Top 16 battle. Make sure they're prepped and ready to run. All right, looks like we're rip-roaring, ready to go. Here we go. Forsberg out front. Odie in the chase position. We got a clean start here. The all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z initiating big, nasty initiation. Odie Bakshi's right there, pushing him. Looks like maybe contact there. We'll get the eye in the sky view from our U.S. Air Force replay. Odie Bakshi's slides to the side of Chris Forsberg, keeping the angle and pushing around. Now transitioning in that final outside zone. Odie Bakshi's absolutely tuned up. Dialing into that last outside zone. Oh, doctor, look at these guys. Wow, what an absolute bonkers run from Forsberg and Odie.
What did Odie have for lunch?
Yeah, holy cow. This elevation, man, it's got, look at that. Was there contact you made or just get that close?
No, I think that was a little bump there on initiation.
All right,
so
let's take a look. Wow.
That was fantastic. Clearly, Odie knows he needs to throw down something amazing here to challenge Forsberg, and I'm sure it's going to go the other way. But look at this bump right here.
Going.
Pushes him away from inside clip 1. Odie right there goes a little deeper on outside zone at number 1. Dives inside again, another bump hit there, and inside clip 1. And you can see Forsberg is trying to stay on the track here, but Forsberg gets right into outside zone 3. That tire's on the line all the way around. That was pretty fun.
Wow. There was a kid that texted me or DM'd me earlier and was like, dude, you need to say, oh, doctor. I said, an oh, doctor is only warranted when you call the doctor. And right now, just getting the bashing on. Forsberg stayed in it. Like you said, what did Odie have over the break? Odie went against, he's had a bye. So this is first head-to-head here in Utah. So
we'll have to get a determination of fault here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure somebody's going to want to look at their car. And so excuse me for 1 moment.
Yeah, please go ahead, exit and converse with the judges. So what needs to happen here is basically deemed fault, and I think we know what's going on here. Nothing looked like it was slowing or anything like that. So they're going to get hands on the car regardless. And if they got to call a competition timeout, one or both of the drivers, they will do that. Just just with not one but two of the bashings there. Chris is just kind of signaling like, what's going on here? So that all-new Nissan Z taking a couple hits there. All right, so yeah, the sheriff's in town. That's Kevin, competition director here, and he is taking a look, seeing what's going on, and figuring out who was at fault. All right, just conversing here. So that 10-minute clock there is being applied to Chris Forsberg. So that and with that 10 minutes, that is an allotment because he is not at fault. Now, I have to assume with that being said that Odie Bakshi's is at fault and he would have to utilize his NGK competition timeout. Forsberg is allotted 10 minutes because he was not at fault. So that is the maximum without utilizing that competition timeout, because you only are allotted one competition timeout through the entirety of the weekend. And that's not just game day, that's qualifying and game day into head-to-head battles. So Forsberg allotted 10 minutes, and Ryan Lontaine, after conversing with the judges, I assume that Odie is at fault. If he wants to utilize his timeout, he would have to use the one and done NGK competition timeout. Forsberg not at fault, he gets a 10-minute allotment, not utilizing the competition timeout.
That is correct, Jared. That is exactly what we're looking at. And upon reviewing the footage, again, we have this different system here that just takes all the footage that the fans and spotters see, and we can just basically fast forward and rewind it.
Look at that rim, the rim of the wheel, that rotiform chunk, chunk, chunk.
Yeah.
That's not a bead lock.
That is gnarly, isn't it?
That is an absolute, I mean,
Is that thing still holding air?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That is pretty sick.
It's
So
a good ad for rotiform right there.
right.
Yeah, so looking at the replay, we saw Odie tapping Forsberg at initiation. Forsberg got bumped off of inside clip 1. Forsberg stays on the track at outside zone 1, but Odie goes off, looks like 2 tires off in outside zone 1 that we can definitively say. There's a lot of smoke. It's hard to tell if the third one was off, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. 2 wheels off. Unfortunately, after inside clip 2, when Odie goes off the track, it's 3 wheels off there in the chase position. So it'll be an incomplete for Odie Bakshi's on his chase run.
Yep. So again, Odie is utilizing his competition timeout. He has hands on the car, one and done as far as the NGK competition timeout. And like you said, he might be at a deficit with 2 wheels off, but right now, we'll get back to that. We move on. Chelsea Denofa, Taylor Hull will revisit the second half of that battle of Forsberg and Odie, and man, that was really exciting to watch, all things considered, and just, you know, getting those taps and continuing on. And Jeff Jones had some amazing shirts yesterday. Legends never flop, and Chris staying in it. You know, even Odie kind of bashing doors. We like to see it. You know, there's kind of incidental contact of being aggressive, then there's slamming.
Yeah.
And that was just trying to be a hard driver. So speaking of hard driving, both these gentlemen are about to throw down. Chelsea Denofa, Taylor Hull. Chelsea Denofa will lead. He qualified 5th. Taylor Hull qualified 21st. So look at that. Look at that deep set there by Taylor Hull as you're going to try to pace a very, very fast, tuned-up Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Chelsea Denofa. He's on Nitto tires. Looks like we are going to get a restart here. Re-Rackham and Taylor Hull. So there is Odie and his team working on the car. Let's see where he lands as far as capability of the vehicle, where he's at, what his mindset's at. And again, he has the second half of this run. And just because there was contact and he was deemed at fault for that, that does not mean it's an incomplete. The only thing, as you said, would constitute is, you know, 3 tires off as opposed to just 2. That would be a deficit or going offline. But
yeah, he did. What we were saying is he did go off track. 3 tires off.
Oh, he did go 3.
Yes, 3 tires before outside zone 3.
So a lot of things going on right now.
A lot going on.
Yeah,
I know.
So that would denote, not because of the contact, but because of 3 wheels
3
off.
3 tires off.
That would constitute an incomplete.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll get to you in a moment, Lorette Nickel, as she's got an update on what's going on. I appreciate all the insight that Lorette Nickel is giving down there. But we're going to the restart of Chelsea Denofa and Taylor Hull. And here we go. Chelsea Denofa out front. Taylor Hull, Comcast, Edelbrock, Liquimale, Wild Willie's, Corvette. An all-American battle. Chelsea Denofa in that first outside zone. Going to that second outside zone, you can see Taylor Hull taking a bit of a shallow line. Nice job by Chelsea. Ooh, Just as I say that, takes out that inside clip. Taylor Hull trying to keep, oh, look at Chelsea Denofa. Way too deep into the gravel.
Wow.
Chelsea overcooking it, and he talked about, you know, how good his run was in 32. He says, that's exactly what I want to do. But this time just absolutely smoked it out.
Yeah, looking at what happened at initiation here, you can see Hull is a little bit behind. Chelsea's off of inside clip 1 ever so slightly. You can see that Hull is trying to make up ground. He's running a little shallower angle, a little tighter line, but then Chelsea hits inside clip 1. He basically runs over the base with that front right wheel, and here he goes 2 tires off in the dirt all the way around outside zone number 3. So that is going to be a bit of a detriment for him in the lead role.
All right, well, they make their way back to the start line. Let's get an update from Lorette Nickel. Lorette, what's up?
Hey, Jared. So the clock is running for Odie. We have 45 seconds left of the 5-minute competition timeout. And what Odie and his team are doing right now, they're adjusting the front toe, and they swapped the rears because there was contact between him and Chris Forsberg. Forsberg switched out his back rear wheel and tire because, as you saw on the live stream, that was not running the next battle. So Odie is running away right now, rolling away. We have 20 seconds left, so he's good. He's heading to the start line, and Chris is still in his pit. We'll go down there for another update on Forsberg, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great update there from Lorette Nickel. Let's throw them around, and Taylor Hull makes his way to the start line. He will now lead with that Corvette out front, and Chelsea Denofa giving chase. So let's see where they happen to go here, because Chelsea way aggressive on that last outside zone, and even like you said on that inside clip, Ryan, running over that base. It's got to disrupt the car.
Yeah, and now Taylor Hull has some opportunities here. He can be tight on inside clip 2 without hitting it, and he can run outside zone 2 right on the pavement edge all the way around there, and that'll give an advantage. As long as he runs outside zone 1 and 2 deep like Chelsea did, he'll better what Chelsea did in his lead run.
But to be kind of devil's advocate here, or to add to the conversation, if Chelsea is aggressive with his chase and is a little more dominant, because Taylor Hull was not part of the equation. Yep. He was multiple cars back. So we always talk, you know, this course is really interesting because it's just really transparently obvious. There's those kind of minuscule decel zones where you're not going to be on the brakes, but there's a decel opportunity that could happen there, but it's not necessary. Here we go. Taylor Hull initiates. Chelsea Denofa, I have a feeling he's going to really try to be on the side of Taylor Hull, now coming to that first outside zone, into the second. There he goes, drops into formation. We talk about the pocket. He is all up in those Carter Short pockets. Now coming down into that last outside zone, and Chelsea Denofa gets into formation. Not as deep as Taylor Hull, compromising that proximity. Getting the proximity, but not for that depth. We talk about that pocket. He was closer. Was it clean? Was it tight? There's a lot to really analyze and break down. 4 very different runs. Lead versus lead, chase versus chase, and then in combining proximity, getting those outside zones, and hitting those clips.
Yeah, so here we are running up to initiation. Great initiation by both drivers. Taylor's tight on inside clip 1, so's Chelsea. Taylor runs right on the line at outside zone 2 and 3. Chelsea's right in the pocket there with him. Nice line through inside clip 2 from Taylor. As they transition for 3, that's where Chelsea's going to dive in. He's going to take his opportunity to get close to Taylor. So it looks like Taylor did run a better lead run, just cleaner in terms of car positioning. It's, zone 1, 2, inside clip 2, and then outside zone 3. Didn't go off course in 3. It was just about a 1.5 foot inside of the outside edge of outside zone number 3. So that's a pretty favorable position to be in from the lead. Now the question is, was Chelsea's chase better than Taylor's?
All right, so as we are going to take a look at the BC Racing Go for Gold side by side, you can see the Forsberg team thrashing. They got 1.5 minutes left. Now keep in mind, that's the 10-minute allotment. That is the grace period. If they do feel like they need another 5 minutes, they do have that NGK competition timeout. So checking the alignment, seeing, make sure everything's up to snuff. My recommendation, try to thrash, get through it, get enough, because there is Odie Bakshi sitting on that incomplete, so little favorable position there. Slide him left for Denofa, right for Taylor Hull, and there it is, one more time. Ryan, this is unanimous. Yep. And your justification, obviously Chris and Brian LS under the hood of his vehicle, But keep in mind, both these guys have victories. How rad is that? Travis Reeder wins in New Jersey. Just before that, Dylan Hughes wins in Orlando, the Wet and Wild. So Dylan, the Dozer Hughes, Permatex, Fast Orange, Falcon Tires, BMW initiates into that first inside clip. Travis Reeder, this should be a really good one. Let's make some noise for these two guys. Coming to that second outside zone. Travis Reeder gets in the door of Dylan Hughes, pushing around the Dozer himself. Travis Reeder goes, oh, he tries, it looks like he got lost in the smoke. Dylan Hughes continues on through the course. Oh, you could feel the anger there, and that looked like it could have been, one, a lot worse, two, a very similar scenario to that of Ryan Turk. You saw him come out, he had that contact with Dylan Hughes. The Dozer says, all right, well, I'll show you, Dozer. I'm going to get inside of you. Let's take a look at it again.
This is an interesting tactic from Reeder in the chase position here. Watch this line from outside zone 1 to outside zone 2. He hangs on to one longer, transitions later, and then he dives right in there and he makes contact with Hughes, which pushes him off inside clip 1. And then as he comes through the smoke here, transitions too early, comes back, and then loses control at that point in time. So he did something that allowed him to get more proximity. I don't know if that hurt him because he ended up in a really, really tight. I think he made contact with Hughes right here. Yeah, right there was a little bit of rub. And then you can see his angle suffers a little bit because of it, puts him on a bit of a tighter line, goes to transition in the car. It looks like it's sort of gripped up right there. And then he ended up snapping the car the other way and spinning out off the track. So that'll be an incomplete for Travis Reeder for that spin, loss of drift.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, that seemed not identical to Ryan Turk's scenario, but Ryan Turk got lost in the smoke. I had some words with him briefly, and he said he just got lost in the smoke. And it's really interesting because he thought he was way more left than he was, and I think the scenario here with Reeder is, like you said, that contact threw him off of what he's been kind of practicing earlier. And practice laps, you know, they're kind of limited. It's a new track. You know, you got 32 drivers early on, so you got to get very familiar with the track in a very expedited fashion, and Travis Reeder got thrown off there quite a bit.
Yeah, you know, on that transition, he could have come out of the smoke as he transitioned and realized, oh, I'm too early, I'm going to end way inside. It looked like his trajectory may have taken him like off the track inside, potentially, and that's why he brought the car back. Or it was a grip up issue, like could be multiple things, but led to unfortunately for him, an incomplete.
And what's going to happen here and what's going to be kind of interesting is how does Dylan Hughes, you know, handle this, being in the chase position at an advantage. You know, just knowing these guys, you want to win in an honorable fashion. I don't think he's going to have, you know, the most aggressive run, but if I'm him, pedal back, put on a good show, but take into consideration you do have that advantage. But Reeder, he has nothing to lose. He's going to let it all hang out. Travis Reeder comes into that second inside clip. Dylan Hughes just barely nicks it. Now coming to that last outside zone. Here goes Reeder. Reeder gets into that last outside zone. And like I said, I think that's a fair, honest approach. You know, you kind of want to advance. And, you know, Dylan looked like he was going to get aggressive from the start, but Reeder, he has to throw it all out there.
Yeah, I was a little concerned with Dylan here at initiation. He got a little aggressive, maybe had a little bump right there, and it almost straightened him up as he was going by inside clip 1, and it definitely hurt his proximity. He fell off there. You can see Reeder, big angle at outside zone 2, gets back on throttle. Hughes just taps ever so slightly that inside clip number 2 marker, and then Reeder stays out of the box all the way around outside zone number 3. But that was close with Hughes in the lead position, in the chase position at inside clip 1. It's almost like he pushed a little too hard there. You know, you have to be a little bit more strategic when the other driver has an incomplete. We don't want to see it. What's that called?
The double incomplete?
No, the thing where you're not chasing close enough.
Inactive chase.
Inactive chase.
It's all good.
The word inactive wouldn't come to me.
I get it, man. I've been doing this a long time. And saw that thing look like a Ginsu knife all chopped up. Here we go. Odie Bakshi's out front. Chris Forsberg in that chase position. Let's see how they initiate. Odie Bakshi's initiates into that first inside clip. Here comes Forsberg. Odie Bakshi's want to see that top view to see if he got into all of that first outside zone. Great angle from Odie Bakshi's. Look at that. Absolutely dialed on that second. And now in that final outside zone, Odie Bakshi's sets it and forgets it. Man. I see you plugging your ear there, Ryan. That uncorked Vortec LS was screaming past us here in the judges stand. I think Forsberg had a very similar approach that Dylan Hughes had going against Reeder. They had an incomplete. You know you're at an advantage. You don't need to do anything massive to win here in 16. You just need to keep it proper, keep it clean.
Yeah, in that situation, Odie knows he's got to lay down a killer lead and hope for a mistake from Forsberg. But Forsberg's not going to put himself in a situation where he could make that mistake. So he kept a bit of distance, and it was a smart move. He still mimicked everything going around the track. He wasn't so far back that it was an inactive chase. Hey, I remembered what it's called that time. And he did a good job of just playing it safe. So let's watch the replay here as they pull up to initiation. A little bit of distance being created there, but Forsberg closes it in here by inside clip 1 slightly. Forsberg just off of outside zone 1, leaves outside zone 2 early, and then falls back a little bit here at inside clip 2. As they transition for outside zone 3, Forsberg gets in the box, initially leaves the box while Odie stays in the box. But I think it's pretty clear who's going to move on here based on run 1.
Slide him left for Forsberg, and that's what they do. Unfortunately, Odie Bakshi's knocked out, but Chris, the force Forsberg advances on into the Great 8. So let's see how this unfolds. Again, Ken Gushi qualifying 7th, Matt Field qualifying 23rd. Therefore, the Monty's Toyota GR86 will lead. Let's see how they handle this first initiation. You can see Ken Gushi going to that first inside clip. Matt Field in the chase position, that Falcon Tires Drift Cave Corvette. He surges in attack. Is it too much? He has to back out. Little wobbler there around that second inside clip. Now to that final outside zone. How are they going to handle it? I think a good job there by Ken Gushi. I think Matt Field caught a little bit on his heels there. Not exactly the most precise run from Matt Field. You saw kind of surging, kind of having to back off.
Well, I think it all fell off right here, Jared. Look, a little bump right there. It's got to throw you off a little bit. Now, the lead driver has the right of way at initiation, and Field was next to Ken Gushi, and it looked like there was a little tap there as Gushi kind of moved over to get himself ready for an initiation. I don't think it affected Gushi. It looked like he put together a really great run. He hit most of his marks through the course here. He did a great job in outside zone 3. Like that tire on the outside zone. Field, on the other hand, so watch. Field ends up having a bobble right there. As they transition here, there's another little one there. Over angles a little bit, and then gets back on it, but as they go towards outside zone 3, he takes a slightly inside line here, and his proximity's not great. And then the inside line was pretty significant through outside zone 3. It started off little, but it got pretty big. So, again, lead driver has the right of way at initiation. If the chase driver gets in their way and impedes them, it's totally on the chase car. In this case, it looks like Ken was not bothered by it, or if he was, he didn't show it. He hit it pretty well.
Yeah, or, you know, and that's a favorable position. You want to see kind of the entirety of the run, and we've seen it where, bam, it just quickly
ends right there.
Quickly puts a battle to halt, and that would end that run, and a driver would have an advantage. And you know, that's similar to, you know, Odie getting in the side of Forsberg, but continuing on through the course. So
that's a big risk to take as a chase driver, to put yourself in that position, because we know, and we've told them a million times, the chase driver is at fault for anything that happens there.
Right. Okay, so let's alternate the order here. Thank you to Type S. This is Type S Elevated, presented by AutoZone. Type S, the official lighting of Formula Drift. So Matt Field will lead, Ken Gushi giving chase. All right, re-rack them and stack them and track them. Let's see what we see from our current points leader. Again, this is a big battle here. Osmo's already in it. With Matt Field being our points leader, this is a must win in order to maintain that lead. Nearly 3-digit speeds, 99.8 miles per hour in that first outside zone, into the second outside zone. Now approaching that second inside clip. Looks like Ken Gushi taking him out in that chase position, and now getting into that last outside zone. Matt Field, oh, look at Ken Gushi massaging it in there. About halfway through, the number 21, Ken Gushi. Again, handling those outside zones and then into the inside clip. swinging it around here. What do we got? What's your assessment, Ryan, and the judges? A big battle at stake.
Yeah, so Gucci, you can see, kind of taking that chance too, but stays out of Field's way. Field initiates really wide on the rumble strip there. Gucci's right with him through zone 1, but Gucci transitions too early, and as Field goes into outside zone 2, Gucci misses it entirely, and then Gucci's on a tight line, and he hits inside clip number 2. As they transition for 3, Gucci's inside a little bit, but manages to get out a little bit further. His proximity is not fantastic, but he is there. And his line is a little bit better than Fields was in the chase, because Field was quite a bit inside on his chase run. So watching this again there, that's Gucci's big error, going really tight on outside zone 2 and then hitting inside clip 2. Here he's inside, but manages to massage the car back a little bit, like you said, Jared. Still inside on outside zone number 3, but a little bit more proximity perhaps right there.
Let's take a look at the side-by-side BC Racing Go for Gold instant replay.
All right, so as we look at the replay on the left, you see that little tap. It looks like Field kind of impeding Gucci a little bit, but Gucci does a good job of staying on it. They get through zone 1, transition to zone 2. You can see Field's line is a lot better in the chase than Gucci's was through zone 2. Gucci then hits inside clip 2. Field positions his car really well through there. As they go to outside zone number 3, it looks like Field is just slightly further inside than Gucci was in his chase. Their leads look pretty similar through that outside zone 3 area.
Contemplating the results here. Again, big impact here regarding Field and Gucci. And Gucci not in the hunt of the championship, but our current points leader. Like I said, Gucci would love to play spoiler here in the scenario, just at the sake of advancing on. 100 points at stake again. 56 separate Matt Field, our leader, to Osbo. Behind him was Turk, but with him being knocked out early, let's go to the judges. Slide him left for Gucci, right for Field, and that's a one more time. That is, and look at that. So again, by majority, the one more time happens. So one more time.
Too many mistakes from both drivers. No clear domination from either driver in both. There were some errors made. Field impeded Gucci, which I don't like. He's not supposed to do that. Get in his way on initiation. But Gucci on his chase, offline a little bit, tapping inside clip. And then going outside zone 3, Field further in than Gucci was in his chase. So there were errors made by both drivers and things that I didn't like from both drivers. So I'd like to see them go again and hopefully have a clean run with an obvious winner.
Yeah, and we saw that, earlier with Field and Rome. You just don't leave it in your hands. Get a more definitive run. As we advance on to we're actually digressing back to the Chelsea Denofa Taylor Hull battle. This is one more time. Chelsea Denofa, that Pennzoil Mustang RTR on Ditto tires, goes past that first inside clip, fills that first outside zone, second outside zone. Taylor Hull, he is mimicking the angle, but he's a few cars behind, just barely nicks that second inside clip. Now let's see how they handle this last outside zone. Denofa gets out there. You see Taylor working for it. Seems like every other run, Denofa's like, okay, that was the run.
Right.
Okay, that wasn't. That was the run. He just needs to be consistent. And Taylor was really working for it. He did mimic the angle, but you just saw him keeping the same distance through the entirety of the course. So he's right there in the mix, but Chelsea he took it over the top.
Yeah, good initiation from both drivers here. You see a little bit of reduction in angle from Hull as he gets near inside clip 1. And right here as they transition, you see Hull low angle and then pours it on as he gets near outside zone 2, but not fully in it. Right there, nice line from Chelsea going by inside clip 2. And as they transition for outside zone 3, much better job this time from Chelsea, filling outside zone 3 without surpassing it and going into the dirt. So let's watch here from above as they transition for zone 2. Again, that's where Taylor had that little mistake on his angle, but pours the angle back on, comes through the smoke. Low angle there, also a poor line from Hull as he's trying to gain some proximity. He does sacrifice on line, so he's not mimicking what Chelsea's doing in the lead position, so that's going to be something that Chelsea's going to have to improve on as he goes to the chase position to win the chase-to-chase comparison. As for the leads, Chelsea did a pretty good job in the lead, so it's going to be really hard for Hull to better that. He can try to match what Chelsea did. He can try to better it. Chelsea filled the zones, got to the clips. It's going to be really hard for Hull to better it, but he can definitely match it, which will give him an opportunity, and hope that Chelsea makes mistakes behind him.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor has it. He's right there. He just needs to find that secret sauce, and it might be in that beard oil, that Wild Willie's beard oil. The comp cams, Edelbrock, Yellow Speed Racing, again, full pull Taylor Hull. He needs that and a little secret sauce. Like I said, here we go. Taylor Hull. See if he can live up to that Intimidator spirit. The 97-mile-per-hour entry. Chelsea DeNova right there, sticking it to the door. An All-American battle, Vet versus Stang. Chelsea DeNova attacks, goes for the, doctor, we saw contact. Let's see the line and what went down here. You could see, obviously, the battle damage on that left-hand side. Might be a little bit of limp in there. Is that just stuck in the rut? Coming to this round of competition, you have that of Frederick Osbo sitting in second in points. Right behind him, his other Rockstar energy drink driver, Ryan Turk. So 2 and 3 in the championship. Them being led by Matt, the Beast from the Bay Field. How are they going to do here in Utah? We will find out.
All right, so we're just watching the replay over and over here on our screen, trying to see what happened, what occurred. Did somebody dive in? Did somebody slow down? So let's watch the replay.
Yeah, please.
And listen to the replay. So coming in inside clip 1, good by both drivers. It looks like Chelsea dove in. It looks like he hung on to angle from outside zone 1 longer than anticipated, longer than you'd expect. You're supposed to mimic what the lead car is doing, so it just looks like Taylor leaves it and Chelsea stays in it longer and then ends up almost passing him, getting right in there. And Taylor looks like he's doing his thing. Is there a tire off that wheel?
On that back left of Taylor?
I'm going to go have a look over here.
All right. Ryan Lontaine and the judges scrutinizing. And, yeah, that back left definitely does look flat. But you were looking at the right. And that could have been, after, post the hit. The contact was made. So, again, scrutinizing here. And what the judges are really analyzing of what's going on. So, well, you can see it right there, absolutely deflated. So let's take a look here on transition. And you're talking about that back left corner, correct?
Yeah, back left corner. Looks like Taylor's tire is not fully on the wheel. So we'll have to get the view from the other side where we can see the left rear wheel. Maybe you'll see it here after he brings it around.
But yeah, it's totally
so there you
defeated.
go. He's running on the wheel. Now, we can't pinpoint when it happened quite yet. We don't know exactly. But that definitely shows that maybe I was wrong on my initial assessment that Chelsea dove in, because in this situation, if Taylor doesn't have a left rear wheel, that's going to cause a big
He is
problem.
lacking angle. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Chelsea is not on the proper – he's starting to dive in. But that could be – you could obviously see it's –
yeah,
it's totally defeated there.
Yeah, there's no tire on that wheel. So that does bring up a big issue, Jared, in terms of traction, grip, speed, everything that would occur there with the lack of tire. As you're weighting that side of the car, you're transitioning, and all the weight is kind of transferring to that side. There is a decel zone there, but I don't think that accounts for a lack of a tire on the wheel, unfortunately. So I think that's going to cause a big problem for Taylor Hull right now, unfortunately for him. And he was putting together a great battle right there. He was doing a great job, but sometimes the equipment lets you down.
Taking a look here, and again, we'll get him towed off. You can see that back left here, and assessing all the angles, looking at everything that's going down. If you're at pace It's one thing, again, DBing in a tire. We will see Chelsea Denofa, Taylor Hull. We'll get them towed off here. And again, already in. Our congratulations. You're going to Osbo next, so you got to bring your A game, man. Like you said, a little bit of luck on your side, but you're going to need a lot of luck, maybe even a little Monica on your side, is Frederick Osbo is our defending champion. All right, just analyzing this over and over, that back left tire debeating. Did it happen, you know, action, reaction, or did it happen? So like, basically, did the hit cause the debeat? Did the debeat happen, then the hit happened? I mean, a debeating of a tire impedes the performance of a vehicle, obviously. So is that where that happened? Perfect storm scenario. Chelsea, I don't think it was in that deep angle going into that second outside zone, but then Taylor Hull deep. I mean, I'm just painting all the scenarios here. I'm not giving finality to it. I'm talking to you, Lontaine, Chris Yule, Brian Egger, the judges. Unenviable position, but there it is.
Yeah.
Chelsea Denofa gets the win. Chelsea Denofa does get the win. And going to you, you spoke with the other judges. How did you find that result?
Yeah, you know, there's no definitive thing that we can see that would have caused that tire to come off from the collision. If the car's already on the rumble strip before the collision occurs, it's not like the collision knocked the car onto the rumble strip, which knocked it off. It just seems like the tire was off and potentially caused him to slow while Chelsea was coming in quick, you know, to that area. And kind of a perfect storm, but with a tire off the wheel, it's one of those things that you can't argue with. The tire was off the wheel, and we know that causes a degradation in performance, and we're expecting cars to be operating at the highest level all the way through this course. And when a car doesn't operate at the highest level, then that's an indication that that driver, that fault or issue or mechanical problem, whatever it is to blame for anything that occurs.
All right, well, there's Chelsea Denofa, the winner of that battle, and again, just it's really unfortunate for Taylor Hull, you know, again, just to debeat like that, and the tire coming off and throwing on some fresh set of Nitto tires. They'll assess that damage. They have Forsberg to go against, and Denofa and Forsberg have gone against each other before, and here they are at it again. So we are more than halfway through this Royal Purple Top 16. So when we come back, we'll see some more battles, notably Gucci and Field here at UMC, Utah Motorsports Campus. This is Type S Elevated, presented by AutoZone.
At O'Reilly Auto Parts, we know how important it is for your car to look sharp and run well. And we're here to make that as simple as possible. Get all the parts, accessories, and tools you'll need for your next project delivered right to your doorstep. Just place your order online and leave the rest to us. You'll have everything you need at your door with free shipping the very next day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. The first time you try Pedal Commander, you'll feel oh yeah. Keep me on your mind, 'cause I be on the way.
Made in Japan. Breed.
Your future in high-performance motorsports begins at the University of Northwestern Ohio.
There is no other school like UNOH to teach you the things, not only for Monster Jam, but for the hot rod community.
With 70% hands-on learning, no out-of-state tuition, and top-of-the-line instructors, you'll go from learning to earning with the industry leader in motorsports education.
I love waking up to come to school.
This facility here has all the tools, instructors, and knowledge that you need to go out and be successful in the field.
Your journey to the fast lane begins at UNOH.
All right, welcome back here to Utah Motorsports Campus, playing host to round 7 in the dirt. Jason, cool. You're number 1 too. Thank you guys for joining us out here. Adam Kanapik, Jason in the building. Thank you so much. Donut, you guys make t-shirts and make good drinks, so thank you. All right, so let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel with an update of what's going on.
Yeah, I know. So Chelsea Denofa just had contact with Taylor Hull, and you pulled in and you didn't know what had happened. Taylor Hull's tire was off the wheel, and from your perspective, what did you experience?
Yeah, we came out of 1, and he was a bit slower leaving 1, so I made a checkup behind him, and that kind of put me a little bit deeper than him leaving the zone, so I stayed longer. And then when he transitioned, I could just tell it was super loose. And I don't know if maybe he went too wide or whatever the case was at that point, because I was just trying to catch back up and get where I needed to be. And then all of a sudden, he just kept slowing down. And there is a point where you got to light off or you're in trouble there. And he got past that point. I stayed on the brakes, but we made contact because of it. We didn't light off at the right time, but it seems like he debeated a tire, which would explain that pretty well.
Yeah, and your crew right now working on back left rear. Any other damage?
Maybe a small alignment change we're going to have to make from the hit, but the cars are built to take it. So.
And how much do you love this track?
I enjoy it a lot. I like that it's a momentum track. It's really enjoyable. The speed's good, and obviously the faster you can go, the more angle you can have. So I've been just trying to push the envelope on the speed a little bit so I can have more style, more speed, and hopefully give myself an easier time picking up all those points.
Chelsea, thanks. Jared, Ryan.
All right, thank you so much for some great insight there from Chelsea Denofa from the driver's perspective. All right, we go back to the one more time. The OG, Ken Gucci, going against Matt Field. Again, Gucci will lead in his Madi's Toyota GR86. And now Matt Field will chase him down. So let's take a look here. Going back to this one more time. Huge repercussions here. Matt Field, our leader in that Falcon tires, Drift Cave, Borley exhaust, Corvettes. We saw him do one more time earlier against Rome Charpentier, so it's not coming easy for Matt Field. And Ken Gucci would love to play spoiler. Looked like they had contact on that first battle, but not the case here. 99.4 miles per hour. Into that first inside clip goes Ken Gucci in that first outside zone. Now transitions into the second. Oh, big contact here.
That was big, Jared.
That was real big.
Doesn't look like it affected Gucci, but
Gucci continues on. But that was a really big blow, and I think it's going to be more detrimental to Matt Field, not only to his ego and his stance, but also his vehicle. That front left corner, he Y-lined it, didn't really beeline it into the door. Let's roll that back. And you know what's interesting is that looks similar to like what Chelsea experienced too, that kind of that line where he kind of went into it, man, this thing, I'll tell you what, Matt Field has had one heck of a season. For all things considered, leading the pack. Remember round 1. I mean, he banged up every corner of that car.
Yeah.
That thing was crab walking his way. Went and got married before round 2, got the car back together. And so that car has taken quite a licking, but not for lack of effort.
Yeah, it looks like watching the replay here, I think Gucci was on throttle through there. Maybe Matt went through the smoke and popped through the smoke and Gucci was there. So looking at outside zone number 1, Field's got low angle there. And then as Gucci goes into zone 2, there's smoke coming off the tires. Let's watch it from this view and see momentum here if we can, pace in the vehicles. You can see
Matt doesn't have much
Fields,
angle.
Yeah, Fields at low angle, and the low angle was sort of starting back at outside zone 1. And again, coming through that smoke, might not look too thick from above looking down, but when you're in the smoke trying to go, look at that, as you try to look forward, can't see anything. So potentially Field was in that smoke, trying to jump in on Gucci and transition there right in the pocket, and just ended up right in the pants, not in the pocket. I don't know. That didn't make any sense. I'll try that again sometime.
Yeah. Leave the bad jokes to me.
It looks like there's a bit of damage on Field's car, the front left.
A bit?
Yeah,
I mean, that was previous damage.
Yeah,
and then
front
that
bumper.
Front, and then that front
splitter.
left.
Yeah, all right, let's be quiet.
All right, so the car obviously way too loud. They're assessing what's going on here. That front left corner.
That wheel looks like it took some
you do
hits.
have to deduce fault. Have you considered, or have you done that already?
I think I do have that in my head. I think the other guys are still toying around with what their call is going to be.
Okay, and you can see that front left corner.
I think we're unanimous on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're unanimous on Field at fault there.
So Matt Field is at fault. You saw him kind of go into the door, and that'll be a major blow to Matt Field. That's an incomplete for Matt Field. You know, essentially with a hit that big, did Gucci have to continue on?
Well, Gucci wouldn't know about what's going on behind him, so
good point.
He would continue on thinking, I need to put this run down.
Okay.
I am the lead driver. If the chase driver incompletes, I still need to continue on.
Right.
You know? And I think that's the safe thing to do if your car is able to do it. If your car is not damaged, you say, everything feels good. I'm just going to keep going.
Yep.
So he did that. I didn't even see Gucci straight and fully. You know, his angle definitely reduced after he got hit, but he got right back on throttle, kept going through the run, and he completed it. So from the Gucci perspective, he's totally good that way. Field, on the other hand, like you said, you know, and like we saw, he just came to a stop there. I don't know if it was due to the hit causing him to lose control and he just, you know, stopped, or if he felt like there was a mechanical, you know, suspension piece or alignment or something wrong. So let's look at it again here from the ground view as they transition. Look at, you can't even see Field at all. You don't even know there's another car there. So imagine his view, and you can see him surge forward. It doesn't look, and that is a decel zone, so Gucci is in the right to decel there a little bit, but I didn't even see.
He took a lick, dude. That was that was a straight uppercut and a boxer analogy, and it's like, I'm cool, dog.
Yeah, I'm
let's roll.
So Gucci's wheels went straight as he tried to control what was going on, but that's not going to be held on Gucci at all.
The
Gucci
OG
just got back on throttle and filled outside zone 3 like he was supposed to. So.
Okay, so because Matt Field's at fault, let's elaborate here. This is an NGK competition timeout.
Yes.
So Matt Field's at fault. Also insult to injury. He is deemed at fault, and that would be an incomplete. So right now, Matt Field needs to get his car back together. He needs to throw down a gangster run out front, and then he needs Gucci to have an incomplete in order for him to advance on.
Exactly.
So Osbo, Chelsea Denofa, Forsberg, they are watching, you know, at the edge of their seat because they're already in it. You know, I mean, look at on that left side, Osbo, Forsberg, and Denofa, they are in the top 5. And here's Matt Field, our points leader, incomplete, little hampered. That's a big blow to the system.
It is.
That's a big shakeup to the championship standing. So let's advance on. We'll come back, finish out the one more time battle of Gucci and Field. Right now is Jonathan Castro, Simon Olsen, both these guys in Toyotas. But the 2J under the hood of Simon Olsen and his Boost Race Fuel, a Norwegian Drift champion. And it looks like Castro might have left early, so we'll get him as we watch. Look at those Forge Stars take a licking and keep on ticking.
And it sounds like Gucci is taking his 10-minute allotment to look at his car as well, as he's allowed to do so without taking a competition timeout.
And that would be similar to the, sorry to cut you off, that would be similar to the Forsberg Odie situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, was that? Oh wow! So that was not a false start.
Oh wow! So we can see them rolling. Castro is still going on there, turning around now, but his car just stopped.
Oh no! So that was not a false start. Unfortunately for Castro, that was his start, and that was not a false start, which means that would count, and he would have to, once you leave that start line. If it's not a false start, that counts as your run, and that means that counts as your run.
Yeah, that's a real blow to Jonathan Castro, who qualified 3rd this round.
Oh man,
probably one of his better qualifying sessions. So right
So
there
he
you
goes
see
initiates.
he was accelerating maybe into second gear, and then the car just died. Simon Olsen behind him gets on the brakes, wonders what's going on. Doesn't see his restart light, so he's curious, probably wondering what's happening. And that it sounds like Jonathan Castro is calling a competition timeout and heading back to his hot pit area for the team to have a look at the car.
Wow, what an interesting turn of scenarios. Few different one more times, a couple mechanical failures. Let's go down to Lorette Nickel, who's got an update. Lorette.
For Matt Field, the clock is still ticking. We're at 1:46 right now, and again, this is the competition timeout. Matt Field is sitting in his car, and he's watching the live stream, and he's watching his battle against Ken Gucci, the part where Ken hit him, and Matt's trying to make sense of the call. The team right now, they're trying to bend back the bash bar and adjusting the toe. You can see the team in the front of the car, and Matt on the radio with his spotter.
All right, thank you, Lorette. And, making sure that it's straight is kind of the biggest thing. We saw this earlier with somebody's rack, yesterday. We saw all these different things. They're gonna use every second. You saw the toe plates there. They're lining it up. Looks like, they're gonna pull off. They said, fire it up. You got to do what you got to do. And this is shaking up. I mean, again, it's not over yet, but that is a big blow to the Drift Cave team, this Matt Field team. So,
and just to clarify, Lorette's at the very back over there. She doesn't see the action live.
Right.
She stated that Gucci hit Field. It's in fact Field that hit Gucci, just for clarification.
Yes, thank you. So our NGK competition timeout, talking about NGK. NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making a better coil. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance, and because we race to win, we continue to improve the design. NGK ignition coils picks them up. All right, so carbon Kevlar, we covered up a little bit of race tape there. Man, the hits just keep on coming. So Castro with a little bit of a blow there and calling that comp timeout. Whew. The plot thickens. So as we move on, what was to be our last battle, we still have other battles to complete. Again, one half of both the Gucci Field, the other half of the Castro Olsen, which it was just a failure to launch. Right now, we move on to Jonathan Hurst, the Pride of Paducah, AZ Rags BMW, against Japan's own, the Buy Now Japan S13, that's Wataru Masayama. All right, so here we are, taking a look. Again, we have already 5 drivers in. Our Link ECU Grade 8, who's coming in to join him, Jonathan Hurst. Coming out swinging. I believe this is his first Grade 8 in FD. Initiates, big, aggressive initiation. Past that inside clip, goes into that first outside zone. Transitions into the second outside zone. Wataru Masayama. Looks like Jonathan Hurst, big angle past that second inside clip. Well done by Jonathan Hurst. Down to that final outside zone. Fills all of it, Masayama. You can see him finding it. Man, great job by both the drivers. You see Masayama exceeding just a little bit right before the finish line. I'll tell you what, Hurst popping and locking, throwing some dirt on his Masayama. But if you can recall again, Jonathan Hurst had a treacherous round 1. Broke his toe, broke his foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, as we look at the replay, what I want to focus on is outside zone 2 from Hurst. So as they come through inside clip 1, slightly off there. Good job from both of them. Hurst, you can see the hands going in there. He takes out an angle, grabs a handbrake in an awkward spot offline, and Masuyama's got to kind of check up and not smash into him, essentially. Definitely threw Masuyama off, and as he comes through the finish line here, he does build up quite a bit of proximity and gets right in there compared to where he was earlier on. So, Hurst missed outside zone 2, had a big handbrake pull, where we wouldn't like to see a handbrake pull, to be honest, and Masuyama avoided, getting into him there, so I think it was a good job for Masuyama avoiding any kind of contact through that area. For Masuyama now, he has a couple of opportunities here to improve upon what Hurst did in his lead run. Hurst missed outside zone number 2 and had a sort of a weird decel there with that handbrake that you could see. kind of threw off Masuyama a little bit. So if Masuyama throws together a clean lead, fills zone 1, zone 2, gets by inside clip 2 with good momentum there, then Masuyama might have an advantage lead to lead comparison wise. In terms of the chase, Masuyama was doing a good job right up until that decel. I guess it wasn't really a decel, but the handbrake
just a little
pull.
checkup, just like you said, a little awkward, a little
that
checkup.
Handbrake pull offline at outside zone 2. So I think he was doing a great job until then, and he got back online, got back to his mimic just after that. So in that sense, Hurst is going to have to do a great job in the chase. The chase can only be as good as the lead, right? If there's a mistake in the lead, then the chase has to adapt to that, and you can't really blame the chase for those mistakes when it's the lead that made them.
The Drift Cave team, very busy there. By Now Japan, Wataru Masuyama. I know Drift Cave operates this vehicle. Drift Cave is Matt Field and his crew's shop. And here we go. Masuyama out front, as you said, analyzing that. Love this eye in the sky. I think it's great to see. Look at that 101.4, big, massive entry there from Masuyama. Can Hurst hang tough? And no, he does not. He spins out, he rotates. Masuyama continues on through the course. Into that second clip. Look at Masuyama. Absolutely on pace. You think he likes his track? Duh. Yeah. This is Masuyama land right now. Well done. 101 mile per hour, very fluid, and I would say that this kind of has a J-type feel, so it might suit his driving style. We've seen Masuyama compete at Formula Drift Japan, and here he is throwing down a really good run, and unfortunately for Hurst, I believe this is going to be the end of the road, as you saw that kind of checkup, and now spinning out, that just really seals in the flavor.
Yeah, you can see here, Masuyama initiates right behind him. As Hurst initiates, he's coming in a little bit faster, and then he ends up understeering, throwing angle in the car, and the car over-rotates, and he completes behind Masuyama in the lead position. Masuyama doing his thing, laying down a great line. So let's watch this from above. You can see Hurst closing in there, and then his front wheels are pointing left for a while. Gets trying to get the car to get that front end to bite, and then once he gets around that corner, the car over-rotates, he spins, and he'll be given an incomplete for that.
A great battle, unfortunately. One round left. That's a flex. You're like,
he doesn't care about your entertainment.
I need to run, son. So here we go. Here we go. This is a big battle here. Matt Field sitting on that deficit, but he does have the clean air. He's going to throw down a gangster run. And Ken Gucci, he's got to play it strategic. Matt Field goes now into that second outside zone. Ken Gucci would love to play spoiler. A big straightening there by Ken Gucci. Oh. And that's going to be all she wrote.
That front left potentially was not repaired adequately for Matt Field. There could have been an issue there. The front could have been binding up. Any combination of things could have been happening there. Matt's going to be disappointed with this one, unfortunately for him. It's a tough pill to swallow.
I mean, this track has proven to be difficult in many different ways. Attrition, the speed, there's no bunching up points, but walk us through, what do you think happened?
Well, let's have a look here as they go by inside clip 1. Gucci taps inside clip 1, and then Gucci transitions here. Doesn't look like he straightens, but then Matt Field is on a very tight line coming through there. Looks like the car maybe got to angle and bound up, and he couldn't get the car to unwind there. Hard to tell. Let's watch it from this angle and see if we can see what happened. He gets the car to angle there, and it almost looks like the car
Look at that
stuck.
handbrake. See how much handbrake he was pulling? He was trying to get it out there.
Yeah,
look at that front left. Absolutely just, oh, come on, hold. Hold. And it just did not. The Beast from the Bay. Look at that. Our points leader is going out in 16. We'll make it official here in a moment. But that is a huge blow. Matt Field, he dropped 15 to 18 points to Osbo. So again, the +3 there. So that is a huge blow to the system of the Beast from the Bay. So it's going to be coming down to Irwindale, kids. And where it lands, 32, 16, 8, 4 finals at CBD at FD. Stro left the line, but unfortunately came to a halt. That was his run, so he's sitting on incomplete. Simon Olsen could enter into the great 8 for the first time. Oh, look at Castro. You can see him shimming his way in that chase position. Simon Olsen fills that first outside zone, the second outside zone. A Norwegian trip champion coming to us from Norway, piling that 2JZ boost race fuel. Super, look at Castro. This is what he needs to do, but I think it's gonna be too little too late. Some shimming in that chase position and brings it across the line.
Castro put on the pressure. He knew he needed to.
Yeah, but just Simon Olsen gaining confidence just with every turn in the Formula Drift Championship. So well done by Olsen, but unfortunately for Castro, he's going to get knocked out there. Simon Olsen will unofficially get the win.
Yes. Castro was putting on a lot of pressure. He was really close. He was putting on a great chase run on the transition from inside clip 2, which he hit. He straightened up for quite a considerable amount of time there. The car settled, and then he kind of reinitiated again. So that was a pretty significant error there in the chase as well. But I think it was, that lead where the car turned off or whatever the issue may have been that really sealed the win for Simon Olsen.
Really sealed in the flavor. So unfortunately for Castro, he's knocked out, but you know who's stoked? Simon Olsen. Simon Olsen, the boost race fuel, Toyota Supra, the 2JZ engine, Norwegian Drift, requiring a sight lap. They're just going for it. Full pull. Let's send it, kids. Frederick Osmo, Mike Power, our first battle for Link Engine Management. Grade 8. Osmo will lead, being our #1 qualifier. Mike Power, bring up the rear. Coming into view of the... Oh, Mike Power overshoots it. A wide swing there by Power. Osmo now goes in that second outside zone. And oh my goodness, Mike Power goes off course.
Into the wall, Jared. Into the fencing with the signage on it.
Holy cow, Mike Power shoots off to the left. Want to make sure he's okay. He backed it in.
Looks like he just hit a fence, nothing secure. It moved pretty easily. So he should
make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up from him. Oh man, dude. Well, he got loose on initiation. Watch him transition.
Yeah.
So here, we'll take a look at it.
So it looks, we're having many situations here where the chase drivers.
He got lost in the smoke.
Yeah, where chase drivers coming into initiation, as they're coming into initiation, there's an issue where the chase drivers are diving in really fast, and maybe they're trying to make up a little bit of proximity on that lead car. And when they throw the car in there, the front end tends to wash out. So it's an area where those chase drivers are really pushing harder than the corner can allow for, maybe, because we've seen this on a few cases.
Through. What do you think happened here?
Where the chase, well, that's what I think happened as they initiate. Look at, he's closing in. See how much he's closing in? He's going maybe too fast for the corner. The car ends up, the front end washes out, and then, like you said, he's on a bad line because of that. He's in the smoke. He transitions too late, and then he goes off course right there, because he does get back on throttle. He gets into that zone, and he's in the smoke completely, and he just doesn't transition enough and ends up going off course into the fencing.
There was fencing. That's for, obviously, our signage. You could see between the Prospect Type S. Our tire wall is back there, so that's good. I'm glad.
But he still was going fast enough to blow those two big tire walls.
Yeah.
So it was pretty
significant
high
speed.
Yeah, significant speed going in there.
All right, so the two spotters, Scott for Mike Power and Stefan Papadakis for Frederick Osbo, they're conversing, and Mike Power is saying he is okay. So as long as he's, as long as he's okay, that's good. He did back it in. Round of applause for Mike Power and for obviously Frederick Osbo. That was pretty wild there. So Osbo in the chase position, and doesn't matter if you go off once, twice, have these mistakes. It's an incomplete regardless. So there's, no unit of incomplete, kind of no measure of incomplete. It was just purely incomplete. So here we go. Mike Power, he's going to initiate Frederick Osbo, give a chase. Mike Power initiates into that first inside clip. Frederick Osbo right there. He's not backing down, even though he has that advantage. It's a good opportunity to have his way kind of, getting used to and familiar with being in the smoke. And it looks like he is doing that. So Frederick Osbo, Mike Power, a great run out front right now, but unfortunately with that big mistake and an incomplete, Osbo will be moving on. Great effort for Mike Power, the furthest he's gone in FD Pro competition.
All right, Jared, as we look at the replay, you pointed out really well. They both did a great job, but you can see Power here is on a very tight line coming to inside clip one. He hits that inside clip one marker. Osbo just stays right where he's supposed to be. You can see he's slightly inside from Power on outside zone number 3, but overall, Osbo did a great job in the chase position there, really placed his car well, and he's going to move on due to Mike Power's incomplete on the first run of the battle.
Giving chase, Chris Forsberg, Denofa, again, 4th and 5th in the standings. Let's see where they land. One of these gentlemen, the point stop here. One of them's going to continue on. The all-new NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z on GT Radial Tires. Big entry there from Forsberg, Chelsea, Denofa. Bring up the rear of that Penzo Mustang RTR Spec 5. Chase him down, getting buried in the smoke. Getting all that second outside zone as Forsberg and Denofa trying to get to the side of him is that Ford Mustang. Now let's see how they transition in that final outside zone. Forsberg gets in it. Buries that Z in it. Denofa, good proximity. And comes unwound across the finish line. Gets some tire in it. That was across the finish line. He does power through. Dropping some tire. Don't know if there's contact there. Again, man, just a fat. We were talking about not getting bound up at this track. Not the case, because these drivers are going for it, man.
Yeah, they are. Great initiation by both drivers there. Well, actually, you can see Chelsea not doing a great initiation, I'm sorry. And then right there, a little bit lower angle. On the transition here, he looks like he goes a little bit wide, but manages to control that beautifully as he comes by inside clip number 1. A little bit lower angle there. His transition here is really controlled. Look at the lack of angle. And then he pours it on afterwards. It's like the car is really grippy. Have we heard that at all this weekend?
Yeah.
The car looks really grippy there as he transitioned.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, rocks flying everywhere.
Oh, yeah, it's the rocks underneath Chelsea's vehicle.
So on the transition here, low angle, goes off a tire there. It seems like the car, pretty good line through here, but he's definitely gripped up to the point where the car doesn't want to transition very aggressively. It's not like Chelsea to not have those big transitions. Maybe he'll throw it more in the lead position. He did bump Forsberg's door there after they went over the finish line, but I don't think it was of any concern at all. You just you're not seeing the movement in Chelsea's car that we're used to seeing. Usually the big swings and a lot of angle. It looks very controlled, like the car doesn't want to rotate the way he needs it to. So Chris is going back to his hot pit, it looks like. I don't know if
contact was made, so I have to assume he's going to assess.
All right, we're gonna have to get somebody back there to talk to him.
Don't touch the car. All right, so the scenario is let's review what's going on here. All right, so now there was Chris is saying there was contact. It did look like contact, so basically fault needs to be assessed. If Chris wants to take a look at the car, let's take a look at it again here. Whoa, look at Chelsea. You can see just the attitude of that car. Now coming into that, again, that second inside clip. Contact, I mean, it has to be at the finish line. There were, you know, they weren't close. So this is what we're going to look at here, Ryan.
Yeah, so as they come across the finish line, that's where Chelsea touches Forsberg's door right there. You can see the movement in Chris's car.
Wheel. Yeah. All right, so even though it was beyond the finish line, that still comes into play as far as getting hands on the car.
Yeah, so this view will give us a good sight on it here, so we should be able to see that contact from the eye up in the sky. I believe it's right after the finish line, and then they both kind of drop a tire right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys need to deem fault, and that would basically say that that Chris could either get hands on his car, not utilize a comp timeout. Just FYI, Mother Nature, because we don't have lights here. That's the only light we got. That big light in the sky. Just FYI.
The big glowing ball.
Or if everybody wants to turn on their cell phone. So
fault was assessed.
All right.
On Chelsea Denofa, and you could see him surge right before the door hit. He really looks like he just gave it that extra little bit just after the finish line. Made contact with Chris. and they just want to get eyes on that front
Cool.
suspension to make sure nothing was touched.
All right, so checking the alignment and just that little nuance there, because here we are going into, further into, the Link Engine Management Grade 8. So we'll move on. We'll go back to the second half of that battle. Right now we move on to Hughes and Gucci. Snoqualmie, Washington zone going against Okinawa, Japan, or Los Angeles, the Angelino Ken Gucci. All right, Dylan Hughes currently sitting 6th in points. So Dylan Hughes and Ken Gucci with a top 10 sitting coming in this far. So looks like Dylan Hughes, that Permatex fast orange BMW sitting on the start line, again with a victory earlier this year in Orlando. Dylan Hughes qualifying 2nd, taking out Beecham, then taking out Reeder, and now going against Gucci. Gucci having gone against Mohan Field, and that got pretty tumultuous there, and some battle damage to his GR86. And we can see the Threes Racing Mahdi's vehicle pulling up to the start line. We're looking inside. It's got that John Reed Racing, looking at the temps, the pressure, oil temp, nitrous bottle PSI, all the critical components. And looks like we are ready to go. So now back to the start line. Dylan Hughes, Ken Gucci, the Link Engine Management Grade 8. Link Engine Management, the official engine management of Formula Drift. All right, Dylan will lead. Gucci will give chase. Ken Gucci can leave before the lights extinguish. See if we've got a clean start. Everything's saying that we do. Here we go. Well, look at that, tip to tail. 103, 103 miles per hour on initiation. Going past that first inside clip, swinging into that first outside zone, into the second. Again, that drone gives just all the true telling. Ken Gucci being transparent about just being comfortable on the track. Now in that last outside zone, nice job by Dylan Hughes using all the track. Just barely hitting that gravel towards that finish line, but that was really well done on that last outer zone. Let's take a look at it. I want to focus again, 103, but did they hit the right line, Ryan?
Coming into inside clip 1, you can see Dylan's off of inside clip 1, but he does get into outside zone 1 and outside zone 2. Right here, Gucci gets on a tighter line and hits inside clip number 2 pretty significantly. He pretty much center punches it with that front bumper. As he transitions here to outside zone 3, Dylan is nice and deep in outside zone 3. You can see him pretty wide there, almost all the way out. So let's look at this again from this angle up in the sky as they transition. Gucci leaves outside zone 3, pretty much at the right spot, but maybe over angles a little bit and then goes tight on inside clip number 2, hits that clip marker, and as we come to outside zone 3, Gucci starts off in the zone but leaves it probably a third of the way through and then is inside that zone for the rest of it. But in the lead position there, Dylan misses inside clip 1, does a great job on the zones. I think he's off inside clip. No, he's pretty tight on inside clip 2. It's just Gucci that goes too tight inside, and then Dylan does a great job in outside zone 3. So as Gucci goes into the lead now, his opportunity, basically he's got to do as good as Dylan did everywhere, and the one place he can do better is inside clip number 1.
All right, let's pull him back up to the start line and see the order of operation being switched up. We'll see Gucci out front and Dylan Hughes. Dylan, like I said, he went through Beecham, went through Reeder, pushing hard. We saw, obviously, Gucci going for it, that brand new vehicle. It looks like that bumper about to fall off, so we'll just go ahead and pop that thing off. Hood pins being placed on, and plenty of ample time. Thumbs up for Chris Forsberg. Again, getting that contact right there towards the finish line, so that will not, so plenty of time there. Only using just about 4.5 minutes. Seeing what's going on underneath Ken Gucci's car, minus that front bumper. See maybe a splitter or something down there. And see what we got. Yeah, it's definitely his splitter just hanging there. He's asking him, "Hey man, do you mind? I got to rip this thing off."
Just step on it.
I apologize, man, but we got to get that splitter off. Watch your hands. Don't cut him. Wee, Rick. Watch yourself. There we go. All right, there's Chelsea Denofa pulling away from his pits. Don't know if he utilized the competition timeout. There you can see him pulling up. Denofa and Forsberg. Right in front of them, you can see Wataru Masayama. All right, so confirmation, Chelsea did not utilize his competition timeout. Here we go, back to the action. Ken Gushie will lead. Dylan Hughes giving chase. What does Ken Gushie have for Dylan Hughes out front, and what does Dylan have for the Goosh? See this initiation, initiating 100 miles per hour. Past that inside clip, well done. Good execution by Gushie out front. Transitioning out, and oh, there we go, more contact. That gosh dang smoke signal. So contact was made. Oh, smoke signal. And that combination, that sun. So imagine going in, I mean, we're looking directly in the sun. I mean, that was a combination of Mike Power and Matt Field. He has the power, he went against Gushie. Oh man, gutted.
Looks like a bit of damage to the front left.
And that's exactly where he hit him. You saw him just go into that back right corner.
Yeah, it looks like Dylan didn't really transition fully there and drove almost straight into the back of Ken Gushie.
Let's see how this happens. See how this unfolds.
So let's watch the replay here and see how it's occurring. Watch Gushie as he transitions, and then look at right there. Hughes goes straight. He doesn't even get the car rotated. The car goes straight, and he drives into the back of Gushie in that area. So right here, keep an eye on Gushie as he transitions. It's a smooth transition, but as you said, looking straight into the sun, going through smoke, and he goes straight. Car's completely straight.
Blinded by the light.
Yeah.
Wrapped up in a goosh in the middle of the night is what happened. Man, that was, I mean, that is just an absolute cotton ball. You can see that front left, the Forge Star slamming in, the bumper taking the brunt of it. Ah, that is such a bad scenario. So as unfortunate as it is, you know, Gushie did not have that incomplete. Dylan straightens out, so the dozer just goes ahead and bulldoze. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, beautiful day in the neighbor. Here we go. Chelsea Denofa out front, Chris Forsberg in the chase position, 108.7 miles per hour, the fastest we've seen. Chelsea Denofa, that wide swing in that first outside zone, transitioning into the second outside zone. Now into that inside clip goes Chelsea Denofa, big, massive angle there. Now, bathing in the smoke is Chris Forsberg. How he stuck with that is unbelievable. Now into that last outside zone. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-wee! Send it, kids! 108.7, went ludicrous speed. Wow, he went plaid. Wow, take a look at this entry here from Chelsea Denofa. Oh, doctor, baby.
Yeah, that was fast, Jared. He did go wide on in clip 1, dropped a tire potentially there in outside zone 1, but kept it on the track in zone 2. You can see Chris trying to gain momentum. Chris is hiding in the smoke basically behind Chelsea Denofa, and he did a great transition there, but missed outside zone 3. You can see Chelsea filling it nicely. Chris struggling to keep up in the chase position.
I think it might have been an advantage that he was out of the smoke signal, where Chelsea's line allowed him to kind of be out of the smoke signal. Not so much going inside clip 2 to the final outside zone. You saw him actually just marinating in it, man. He was like a tri-tip steak marinated in the smoke, in a smoker, but ludicrous speed. We could see some Chelsea fans out there, and remember, this is the second run of this battle. We saw, you know, it was quite a few moments ago that we saw both of them. I believe we're going to have to see a BC Racing side by side, or at least show that first run. So pretty good run from both the drivers, but want to assess what happened and what went down in that first run. Now remember, keep in mind, Chelsea Denofa currently sits 5th in points. Forsberg sits 3rd in points. And again, the point stop here for one of these drivers. The winner of this battle, notably going against Frederick Osbo, who is slowly inching up on Matt Field, our points leader. All right, so as Forsberg and Denofa wait the outcome here, Gucci is the winner on the other side of the bracket, but on the other side of the Link Engine Management Grade 8 is Wataru Masuyama and Simon Olsen. And Olsen and Masuyama will be going against Ken Gucci. And just recounting that first portion of that battle with, you know, we saw Forsberg out front, Denofa got in the back of him, but it was towards that finish line. And now taking a look at the high-speed entry, some, you know, we saw how it unfolded, fastest we've seen so far, but again, that is not a judge criteria, 108.7 miles per hour. Our judges scrutinizing the runs. Here's our BC Racing Go for Gold side by side. Forsberg leading on the left. That was the first run, and what we just recently saw here on the right.
Yeah, I've got sort of my decision in my head, but I'd like to see a side-by-side here to really kind of finalize it. Looking at the proximity between both drivers and also the achievements that the lead drivers were able to perform. The proximity with Chris in the chase is not as good as the proximity with Chelsea in the chase. Both of these were pretty solid. Good job by both of them there, but yeah, that kind of helps me out right there.
All right, so let's go to the judges. Again, the winner going against Frederick Osbo. Some amazing driving. And again, here we go. So slide him left for Forsberg, right for Denofa. That's 1 vote, 2 votes, and 3 votes. Chelsea Denofa, the highest speed entry, gets the win. Qualified 19th compared to Masuyama, qualified 22nd. That Boost Race Fuel Norwegian driver. We're gonna have 2 Norwegians in the finals, or we're gonna have 2 Japanese drivers. Here we go. Simon Olsen initiates, Wataru Masuyama right there on the door of that all-new Toyota Supra, transitioning into that second outside zone. A little bit of checkup there, Masuyama keeps composure. And now coming into that final outside zone, Masuyama to find out Japan, S15, into that last outside zone. Simon Olsen does not get all the way out there. Masuyama falls and tracks him down. Some confidence by Olsen being conveyed here in Utah. Happy man right there. Ooh, Chelsea Denofa. Again, most recent victor in Seattle. His mindset, go for it. Have fun.
Now what I'm told about these newfangled high horsepower drift cars in Formula Drift is that if you're off throttle, the cars tend to straighten up. And I'm seeing a lot of this on the transition between zone 1 and 2. You can see Masuyama there straightening up significantly as he looks like he's off throttle on the transition, and the car just goes straight on him right there. As he transitions to outside zone 3, he's on throttle. Good mimic on line, could be a little bit closer on proximity, but he is positioning his car well. So this is the problem though right here. As he transitions, car goes straight, and then he transitions into a bit of low angle drifting behind Simon through outside zone 2. So that is a bit of a problem on Masuyama. We'd love to see a lot more angle there. You can see in the lead, Simon does miss outside zone 1, does a better job on 2. In the chase, Masuyama follows him in 1, but does not go all the way out to 2. Seemed like I said, the car didn't want to transition, and the car did not kind of flow out to outside zone 2. It sort of stayed mid-track.
Land this way.
So Chelsea Denofa got himself in the conversation with 492 points and racking them up. The RTR team. I know Vaughn's watching at home. See Adam LZ up here in the spotters tower cheering on his RTR teammate Adam LZ. Fortunately not making top 32, but we'll see him at Irwindale. And now we'll alternate the order. Wataru Masuyama, Simon Olsen. Now look at that sun. So again, just when they go from right on initiation, they take that hard left, they're looking directly into that sun. So some are hoping it drops behind, obviously in due time, literally. It'll be behind those mountains, but it's gonna get dark on the track. It's gonna change the dynamics. So we need to expedite this, kids, but that is the variable. Mother Nature is just shining bright like a diamond in the face. Again, blinded by the light. Here we go. Masuyama out front. Simon Olsen giving chase, initiating. You see that big angle, a little bit of handbrake there coming in, massaging it into that inside clip, into the first outside zone. Simon Olsen falls back. Now how is Masuyama going to handle this inside clip? Could have been a little closer. Simon Olsen tightens it up. Now coming at the last outside zone. Masuyama all the way out there. Look at that, right on that razor's edge. Maybe picked up a pebble with one of the tires, but you did not see any evidence of it. You didn't see the little brown cloud. You just saw flirting with that line, flirting with that track edge. Great job by Masuyama out front.
Yeah, that was a great lead run from Masuyama. Simon was missing a couple of the zones in the chase position, so let's look here. Tight on inside clip 1, good on zone 1, good on zone 2. Simon was inside on both of those. Masuyama misses inside clip 1, but Simon stays on the right line through there. As we go to outside zone 3, Masuyama deep in zone 3, really deep in zone 3 for part of it, and Simon's on the inside slightly for most of it. So chase to chase, the question's going to come down to whether or not Masuyama incompleted in his chase in transition between outside zone 1 and outside zone 2. We do have a side-by-side coming, so we'll get an idea of how bad that was and comparatively what it looked like as both cars in the chase are going through that area. So Simon Olsen leading on the left, Masuyama leading on the right. And the transition for Masuyama is right here. Straightens up quite a bit. You can see a handbrake pull trying to get the car sideways again. And that might be just too much to give Masuyama the win, as that was pretty significant. And we have incompleted other drivers for the same type of straightening. So
wow,
that unfortunately I think is going to be an incomplete in my eyes.
Yeah.
For Masuyama in the chase. And it's unfortunate that he did that because his lead run was so good.
Slide him left for Olsen, and there you go. Simon Olsen gets the victory. So a great... Chips keep falling his way, but right now, here we go. It is Osbo versus Denofa. We got number 2 and 3 in points in the championship. Who's going to get the win? Who's going to advance on? Osbo. Denofa initiating almost simultaneously into that first inside clip, now into that first outside zone in the second. Now coming in, big angle for both of them. You can see, not as aggressive is Chelsea Denofa. Maybe playing strategy here, backing off a little bit, but no tucking it now on that last outside zone. Gaining some applause from the spotter stand up here, but look at that sun. Could you imagine throwing smoke in front of that while you're ripping sideways?
Yeah, being the chase driver going through that smoke has got to be a challenge right here. Chelsea does a good job of getting his car positioned really well in the chase position. Osbo's laying down a really clean lead run, so Chelsea knows he has a great lead run ahead of him to follow. So at initiation right there, you see that Chelsea has a little bit of a bobble there coming to inside clip 1, but on transition, gets his car positioned nicely. Osbo's doing a great job in the lead position of laying down that really solid lead run that Chelsea knows he can follow. Chelsea transitions, it looked like early, but he managed to make it work. He missed the beginning of outside zone 3, but you can see that Osbo was in it for the majority of it. Osbo was off of inside clip 1. Chelsea took that advantageous line by going close to inside clip 1, and as they come to inside clip 2, both did a great job through there. You can see Chelsea there transitioning really nicely. Misses the beginning of outside zone number 3, but gets into it. And Osbo does a great job on 3 from beginning to finish. So again, watching right here, that bobble by Chelsea in the chase. I think it was his only real mistake as he transitions for zone 2. Really nicely positioned. Osbo's really getting himself put through this track flawlessly. You don't see any concern from him. Great line all the way around. He's in the box in outside zone 3. Maybe leaves it just as the zone finishes there, but overall, great run from both drivers.
All right, there you see Osbo's team cheering him on. I love that we got the First Wives Club over here cheering him on, but they're standing next to each other actually. So I don't know I want to see you guys fight. I want to see you guys arm wrestle. I'm talking about the ladies. The wives of the racers that are on track are up here in the spotters stand. They just gave each other a hug, but they'll fight later, no big deal. Here we go, Chelsea Denofa. The fighting is on track right now. Chelsea Denofa will lead that Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Frederick Osbo in that Rockstar Energy Drink. Both these guys on Nitto tires. Simultaneous initiation. 109, baby! Oh, doctor, come on now. First outside zone. Transitioning into the second outside zone. Frederick Osbo with the gold. Oh, knocks him out. Throws some more angle on it. Chelsea stays in it. Holy cow. With the assist on the drift. Chelsea Denofa stayed in it. You saw Osbo come from the rear. A little gravel being thrown up. I have never seen the Scottie Pippen assist. They gave him a little bump up. Holy cow. The Nitto tires kissed and they shot him over there. Look at that back left. That's where he got into contact. He shot him out, and Chelsea Denofa stayed in it. I want to see that back right. Thankfully, that's the second portion of this run. We're going to have a winner. Are they going one more time? Amazing battle right here. Just collecting our thoughts, and now the work begins.
That was incredible. You could see that that was a high-speed initiation. It looked like Denofa maybe a tire off in outside zone 1, but Osbo was right there with him. So let's confirm it with the replay. So look at that big initiation from both drivers. Osbo's right there. Chelsea does go 1, maybe 2 tires off in zone 1. Does a good job in zone 2. And then Osbo gets into him a little bit, gets pushed to the inside there, and I think his tire's off at this point, and he's just trying to milk the car through the run. You can see the tire coming off left rear. It blew the fender off basically there as it came off the car on transition. You can see that over fender just blow off. That was pretty impressive. Chelsea does drop a tire in outside zone number 3 as well. So in terms of precision, yes, Chelsea was going really fast, but he didn't keep the car on the track in a couple of key areas. So right here, he did drop potentially 2 tires. I think he was over the rumble strip to the other side, hit that outside zone marker, had a big slowdown there, and then Osbo got into him. The tire came off, probably cut the tire there, and then watch the transition here. The tire's gonna come off and blow the over fender off. There it goes, and he completes the run, missing a big chunk of his fender.
Yeah, after you could see it, that angle shooting down the side of Osbo's car, you saw the tire off, and then when it's pieced out, I look at that, because that was the back right that Denofa had contact with. Wow, that was pretty bonkers. What do you say, Utah and Formula Drift World, about that battle there, the first battle? Come on now, Utah, make some noise for these guys. Are you not entertained? Come on. Working hard for it out here. So the question is, where are my Frederick Osbo fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Chelsea Denofa fans at? Make some noise. Where are my drifting fans at? Formula Drift, make some noise. A little bit louder there for the Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5D, and could see that back left just exploding. That again, both these guys on Nitto tires. The Nittos kissed. They pieced out. You saw that back left of Osbo DB'd, but then when it just is, spinning around there on that last outside zone, that's when it exploded. So as we take a look here, some amazing speeds, but you got to take into consideration what Lontaine was saying, precision. So slide him left for Osbo, slide him right for Chelsea, and Frederick Osbo gets the win.
Yeah, and it comes down to exactly what I was talking about earlier, Jared. Precision. The high speed is incredible. We love watching it, but
Ken Gucci, Olsen will lead. Gucci giving chase. Let's see what we got. Simon Olsen is the furthest he's been in Formula Drift competition. Gucci, we saw him on top of the box most recently earlier a couple years ago. Can he do it again? His all-new build debuted in Atlanta, GT86. Here we go. Simon Olsen, 2JZ, Boost Race Fuel, Toyota Supra, 96.8. Going to that inside clip, dials it in. It's going to that first outside zone. Second outside zone goes Olsen. Gucci just a bit shy, just a bit short. Now coming into that second clip. Nice job by Olsen. Gucci with a wide swing. Can he bring it back? And it looks like Gucci falling back a considerable amount. again, both these guys just, you saw that big separation there, some mistakes on either side. This is really, I think this is where we need to see that BC Racing go for gold, side-by-side instant replay.
Yeah, that side-by-side would be helpful, I think. It looked like Gucci was doing a good job until after inside clip number 2, but let's have a look at the replay and verify that. Great job by Gucci in the chase of being close to Olsen on initiation. You can see them, Olsen was a little bit off of inside clip 1, but Gucci's following his line really well as they come by inside clip 2. This is where Gucci falls off. He goes wide here past inside clip 2, and then as he transitions for 3, he's pretty far behind now. In the lead position, it doesn't look like Olsen is filling outside zone 3, but it looks similar to what Gucci did on his lead run. So comparatively there, we're going to have to see.
Could see Osbo's team working on this. Could see the marks, seeing what's going on. All right, here's our BC Racing side-by-side. Taking a look at this. Again, Gucci and Olsen. Who's going against Osbo?
All right, Gucci leading on the left, Simon leading on the right. Want to look at proximity, duration of proximity, and also line and mimic throughout the course. So as they go through zone 1 and zone 2, I think the lead drivers were pretty similar through there. The chase drivers here are, this is where Gucci falls off right here. Simon is on a much tighter line here. Gucci's just sort of on the same line, but far back. So that is 6 of one, half a dozen of another for some situations. But a tough one, Jared.
Yeah, this is where we're splitting tire treads, man. This is where it gets a little difficult because it's just who's just a little more dialed because they both have their disadvantages. Who's going to the finals? Ken Gucci or Simon Olsen? Ken Gucci going to the finals, an all Toyota final. So Simon Olsen just a bit outside, 4th place for Simon Olsen. That means Chelsea Denofa back on the box. It's an all Toyota GR Gazoo Racing final. Gucci and Osbo. Gucci, who said, man, not feeling confident, not feeling, exactly dialed, but guess what? He's in the final, and that's sometimes how it be. So right now, Frederick Osbo, you can see him giving some applause to his Toyota teammate, but Chelsea Denofa does lock up 3rd place, but now the big decision here is take a look at Frederick Osbo. All right, let's throw down to Lorette Nickel. What's the updates down there?
So, Frederick, right now there's a lot of hands on the rear of your vehicle. What is trying to be fixed back here?
It's an almost comical amount of damage in the back. So obviously after that tap, we broke something in the back, and I continued throughout the run, or all the way through, and I just felt parts flying left and right and more stuff breaking, and got through somehow, and somehow we got the win. I don't know what was the judge's verdict on that, but now we're just trying to fix the mess I created. There's brake fluid everywhere, broke some arms. It's fixable, but is it fixable within the time allotted? We don't know yet.
Right. And so the clock has not started. We're in that natural break period that your team has the availability to work on the car. Once that clock starts, do you think this can all be repaired?
I think so. If there's anyone that can get it done, it's these boys. And we have the parts, we have everything. They're all white fab parts, easy to swap out. But it's a lot of work still, a lot of hands on deck, and I'm just sitting here waiting for us to fill up the fluid, and we're going to start bleeding the brakes.
And I think you just figured out you're going against Ken Gucci, your good friend in the finals. What are your thoughts on that?
Hell yeah, this is awesome. Obviously I know Ken really well. I love him to death. Class act and fantastic driver, and he deserves to be in this final.
And Freddie, I just wanted to inform you at this point in the day, you are now 14 points behind Matt Field in the championship race.
Oh wow, so the race is still on. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, and we still have the rest of this round, and of course, we'll go into Irwindale in a few weeks. Jared Ryan.
Thank you so much, Lorette. Pretty cool. Like he wasn't
Thanks,
keeping
guys.
count.
Like they didn't
Like
know.
he didn't know. Okay, guy.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Well, Gadzooks.
I had no idea.
Likely story. Look at just
throwing
throw
parts
around
away.
brake rotors and again wise fat parts.
Wow, there's a lot of broken stuff in
RSR
there.
suspension there. We're gonna throw that out. Oh man, yeah.
Throw that out too.
Yep, barely used.
Keep that for later, maybe.
Yep. All right, barely used RSR coilover from champion. Again, defending champion, I might add. He could be going. Here it is. Freddie going for. He would join that. He talked about it in that Controlled Chaos series. He says, I'm in a very elite alumni of having 2 championships. He'd be in another elite alumni wrapping up Irwindale as a champion. That would be, he'd be one of 3 3-time champions. Chris Forsberg, James Dean, and then Frederick Osbo. But again, just having a championship in itself, which Matt Field is gunning for. Chelsea Denofa, he's on the box. There you go. So the finals are set. Frederick Osbo versus Ken Gucci. Round of applause for all our drivers. Denofa is locked in for 3rd place. When we come back, our Type S finals, the official lighting of Formula Drift here at Utah Motorsports campus. The round 7. The pro finals are upon us to make things happen while Lorette cut up with the Goosh.
Jared, thank you very much. So, Ken, after the conversations that we've had today where he has told me that he is so uncomfortable, finally, we see you in the finals. This must be incredible for you.
Yeah, it's definitely been a wild ride. We've been getting hit left and right, and again, I'm still not 100% comfortable with the car on this track, but as the night goes on, my team has been doing a really fantastic job getting the car back together. It's actually pretty beat up right now after the hit from Dylan, but here we are in the finals. It's going to be a Toyota finals, so really excited about that, going against my teammate Frederick Osbo. But yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not really confident with my driving just yet.
Okay, so any damage sustained against Dylan, and are you worried about that affecting you in the final battle?
I definitely am worried about the damage that we've sustained. We definitely have damage. There's no fix for it right now. The subframe is bent. It's cracked, but not enough to where it's dangerous. Okay. So we're going to keep going and keep pushing. But wow, what a wild ride it's been. I didn't really expect any of this, but again, I just got to give it up to my team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ken, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck, guys.
And there we are overlooking Frederick Osbo's vehicle. Looks like buttoning up, putting the last few details. Now, all right, so that is a competition timeout being utilized, and obviously this is the finals. Use it or lose it, man, because so he is using his NGK competition timeout, and rightfully so, down to the last moments. Hey, he might not make it. I mean, they're still buttoning things up, and like he said, I mean, there was extensive damage there, and they bleeding the brakes, getting everything together, and also, how much trust does he have with what's been done and executed, alignment, all those things? Yeah. As they always say, it's not the $10,000 part, not the $5,000. It's the nickel part. It's the quarter part.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jared. They do have the right rear buttoned up, but of course the left rear is the one that had the hit, and the left rear is the one that is the concern right now. So we'll see if they can get it in the next, 3.5 minutes they have left. So the countdown is on, and we are going to be watching here anxiously to see what happens.
Interestingly enough, you saw Stefan Papadakis give a little wave to the camera saying, hey, how's it going? Just feeling, I guess that's a good vote of confidence, but holding the parts in place, less than, you could see just less than 4 minutes, about 3 minutes left. About 3 minutes left. Buttoning up those fasteners. All right, so that back left corner, I mean, these guys have their corners set up. They have kind of corner boards where they'll have that back left, back right, front left, front right, and basically they'll get them prepared. They have the spare parts. Doing this, within, I would say, we've been, 10 minutes so far? So them doing this all hands on deck. They do this, I mean, they've done engine swaps in hours.
Yeah, but they only have about 2-something minutes left, and they still don't have the brake on, I don't think. Yeah, the brake's there.
Yeah, I see the rotor.
It's
caliper. I don't think it's going to make it. I think Ken Gucci's going to get the victory.
If we can see that clock,
2:20.
Okay, it's more than I thought. I underestimated there, but we're still just over 2 minutes now.
But what's at stake here is Frederick Osbo. He's in the finals. took that hit, he would have to fix it and advance on. And again, he went through. So admittedly, 2 minutes left. This is a 2-minute warning, baby. So what's going on here is Ken Gucci, not confident in his car, but guess what? He could very well win this round. You know who's watching kind of feverishly? Matt Field.
Yes.
Because, again, 100 points for the win. You know, the points at stake here. 100 points for the win, and then the further, obviously, you go down, the less points it obviously is. So coming in here, we talk about, 14 now, but if Osbo wins 100 points, if he gets second place, how many points is that when you throw that? Do you have that graphic? Okay. All right, so as you could see, so it would go to 5, but I know, but the points at stake is what I was looking for, like second place.
So this is the points as it is right now.
Yeah, 5:58, that's where it's at right now. And a minute left, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So 91, so 8 points, and that could be, so yeah. I mean, this is a very, very big deal, going from second to, and that's where he's basically at 91. And no, it's not going to happen. There's way too much work to be done for a minute. But hey, a grand effort. Hats off. Make some applause. Make some noise for these guys. And interesting enough, Ryan Turk went out earlier, got into the wall, and we see Frederick Osbo here, who gets into the finals after an amazing Chelsea Denofa battle in the Final Four. But it looks like Ken Gucci, hey, guess what?
Another winner.
A different winner for another round. So 7 rounds, and again, unofficially, but you can see Frederick Osbo cranking some Rockstar over there. Rockstar energy drink, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. Yes, he would. Ken Gucci would have to take a bye run, and that would be a celebratory victory for him, as it's not going to happen. Ken Gucci will unofficially be your winner, and Ken Gucci will get the win. Frederick Osbo in second, and an amazing turn of events here. So there it is. High fives all around. Frederick Osbo. Look at that. Round of applause, sportsmanship. Make some noise for Frederick Osbo. They can hear you in the pits. And with that, Ken Gucci, this new build being debuted in Atlanta, fought tooth nail. And again, you heard the conversation with Lorette Nickel. He's going to warm up his tires. Again, running his own campaign this year, that Monty's Threes Racing, Toyota GR86. It was to be a Toyota GR final. Hey, also, for those fans in the building, for you guys leaving, FYI, when leaving, there's no need to go back the way you came in. If you parked in the GA parking lot, walk towards your car. The gates are open into the lots. So again, there's no need to go back the way you came in. If you're parked in the GA parking lot, walk towards your car. The gates are open in the lots. All right, so third place, Chelsea Denofa. Second place, Frederick Osbo, closing the gap. Again, you saw the point standing. Denofa jumping up, Forsberg being knocked down, Ryan Turk being knocked down, and Gucci, who started out 10th, is now jumping up. Because here you go. His celebratory bye run as the sun sets, the rising sun rises. The OG, Kenshiro Gucci. Send it. Here's your winner for round 7. The Type S Elevated, presented by AutoZone. The Goosh gets the victory in a celebratory lap, 96 miles per hour, as he rips into that first inside clip. Layout, listen. Here's your winner in Salt Lake City, Utah. Coming on down here in front of the fans, Kenshiro Gucci. Congratulations to him. And there you have it, a celebratory bye run. And we've seen this happen in the past there, Ryan. Just, again, our winners kind of not having to do battle there towards the end, and joining him out here, I could see Chelsea Denofa making his way. We'll get Frederick Osbo. Join us over at the podium ceremony. We'll give out the trophies. Also, we're celebrating Prospect drivers with a cocktail mixer later. And hanging out with them, that is obviously drivers and crew only. And coming on down, there you go. Hard parking it next to Kenshiro Gushi. And you know the outcome, but let's make some noise for him. We'll get Frederick Osbo down here after fighting tooth and nail. Thank you, guys and gals. Drive home safely if you're here in the building. We'll get Osbo down here. Make sure he's down here, and we will meet you over at the podium if you're here. And there he is jumping out of his car. Congratulations all around from these three drivers, these podium finishers, stepping outside of his vehicle. Some thumbs up, some high fives. What a battle between those two ledge. And there you go. Toyota GR, Goosh, and Osbo. All right, let's announce it. Third place here at the Type S Elevator, presented by AutoZone. Third place here in Utah. Larry Chen grabbing some photos. Congratulations to our third place podium finisher, piloting his Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Make some noise for Chelsea Denofa. Second place, because you already know we're gonna end it with our winner. Second place here, round 7 of the Formula Jet Pro Championship, the Type S Elevated, presented by AutoZone. Second place, piling that Rockstar energy drink, Toyota Supra on Nitto tires. It is your defending champion, Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo. And last but definitely not least, he fought tooth and nail in a brand new car that was debuted earlier this year. This Madi's Toyota GR86, the OG since 2004. Make some noise for Kenshiro Gushi, your winner at round 7 of the Formula Jet Pro Championship. The Type S Elevated, presented by AutoZone. I throw down to Lorette Nickel, who is with our winner.
Couldn't be happier for you, Ken, especially when you were talking about how uncomfortable you've been all day. And we haven't seen you with a win since 2019 in Irwindale. So way to celebrate here for this brand new round in Salt Lake.
Yeah, it took me all weekend until the final run by myself, a bye run, to finally get it down. And I threw a massive angle on the entry, and I think that was the run that I should have done in qualifying. But at least this time around, the time gap between my last win is not so long from the last time to the previous win. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But yeah, it's been a pretty wild weekend for us, getting banged up and hit left and right. But again, my team has been phenomenal in keeping the car together. Would have loved the final battle against my Toyota teammate, Frederick Osbo, but sometimes luck can be a part of skill.
Absolutely. And again, for a reminder for everybody, what was the damage to your car? And you're not worried about fixing it before Irwindale, are you?
No, it's an easy fix. Actually, we had the same damage coming out of St. Louis going into Seattle, and the fix was actually replacing a bracket on the subframe. We did the final run right now with a broken rear suspension component, but it held through, again, thanks to my team. But we're here. We won the event. We're going to celebrate tonight.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our Salt Lake FD winner, Ken Gushi. And of course, standing back here, don't go anywhere. Where are you going? Chelsea Denofa with that third place finish. It was well earned today.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was a blast out there. Osbo ended up taking me out. It was just a gnarly run overall. We showed up Thursday and we were not doing so hot. I got lucky on my qualifying score and kind of put something together. But I think even still at this point, I've probably only done 14 laps here. So we were learning in every lap, and I was just pushing past to learn fast, and that was pretty much it.
Okay. And Frederick Osbo, you guys sustained some contact. Chelsea, what happened in your perspective?
Yeah, I left Outer Zone 1 a little bit late because I got on the rumble strips. It's a little bit slicker on that, and it kind of held me out. So when I transitioned, I was transitioning into Outer Zone 2 instead of to it. So I did my decel a little bit late in that zone. Still let it off and was good, but I think I just gave a bad opportunity for Osbo in the chase, and we ended up hitting rear wheels together. It's just an interesting call on that. You know, it was like I definitely was too late. I definitely was decelling too late, but I also was getting into the zone late, so it was on my bad.
Chelsea, thank you so much. And Frederick Osbo, a word with you. We saw you guys in the competition timeout. Your team worked so hard.
Yeah, I created a big mess for him. But, you know, it ended up not really being our fault, and Chelsea and I were rapping about it now, and we were both all in, and, you know, it was an honest mistake, and you know, I just disintegrated everything back there. So the boys gave it a valiant effort, and we just couldn't get it done in time. But, you know, to be up here on the podium after a couple events slump, feels great. Seeing Ken at the top, I mean, it's great. And what a place, what a venue, what a track. It feels unreal. It feels like we're in a video game, looking around the mountains here and racing at this beautiful course. So thank you, Utah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please get loud for your podium here in Salt Lake. In third place, Chelsea Denofa. In second place, Frederick Osbo. And your winner, Ken Gucci.
Thank you so much, Lorette Nickel. Congratulations to Ken Gucci, 3 Racing Team. And you know what? 7 rounds, 7 different winners. The question is, who's going to win in Irwindale and who's going to win the championship? It comes down to the House of Drift. We're talking, you know, less than 20 points. Ryan Lantain, your thoughts about the event as we close this thing up. The sun is set, baby.
This is a wild event, Jared. I don't think we could have predicted just how wild it was going to get, but perhaps we should know better. A brand new track, totally unknown to everybody, minimum amount of laps. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, so thank you so much. On behalf of Ryan Lantain, Chris Yule, Brian Eggert, Sean Adriano, Ryan Sage, our president, the whole staff, thank you to all our sponsors, and thank you to all the fans. Thank you for making the Type S Elevator presented by AutoZone an absolute success. We'll see you in Irwindale, we'll see you online, and we'll see you another time, October 15th. We're going to send it at the House of Drift. Be there. Come on now. Thank you so much. My name is Jared Deanda. Send it, Formula Drift Nation.